Okay, I have 4:30. We can suppose we can go ahead and get started for our agenda review. Okay, so let's see, our agenda review is going to start tonight. It looks like I get to take over tonight. So we are live captioning our meetings. Please look in the chat window of the WebEx meeting where you'll find a link. Please click on that link to open a web page with the live captioning. So I'm going to call the meeting to order. At this time, I'll call the meeting to order to the agenda review meeting for the Maricopa County Community College District Governing Board for April 20th, 2021. We are reviewing the agenda for April 27th, 2021 board meeting. For the record, I'll call a roll call for the board members. So let's see, we have our student board member, Delissa Munoz. Are you here? And I did get a message from Jacqueline and Smith and Marie Sullivan that they're not going to be here tonight, but we'll see if they're here. So Ms. Bittersmith, are you here?
Here.
All right. Mr. McGrath, are you here?
Present.
All right. And I'm here. Jacqueline Smith, do you happen to? Oh. Dr. Thor?
I'm here.
And Ms. Wynn?
I'm here.
Yay. And Ms. Sullivan, I think, like I said, that's why I'm here. So with that, we have 5 members. And so we'll conduct the meeting. So first off, we have the consideration of a consent agenda, and we'll jump right into that. The approval of Faculty Emeritus distinction to Jean Cannon. Will be the approval of the Faculty Emeritus distinction to Dr. Regina Monroe. Approval of Faculty Emeritus distinction to Sandy Zetlin. The approval of the settlement agreement with Dr. Laura Swaintick. The approval of curriculum items, course deletions. There will be 2 modifications. There's 32 and 27 new occupational programs, or 22 new ones. Occupational programs, there's 2 modifications, 15 and deletions 6. Item 7, approval of the budget expenditure amendment for fiscal year 2019-2020. Approval of the new grant awards for the U.S. Department of Education, Higher Education Emergency Relief Fund 2 formula grants. The approval of intergovernmental agreement between Agua Fria Union High School District and the Maricopa County Community College District on behalf of Estrella Mountain Community College, embedded advisor program. Item 10, approval of spending capacity of the Centro Digital Marketing Agency contract for digital marketing services. Item 11, approval of the temporary extension of design agencies RFP number 3342-4. Approval of purchase order to Johnson Control for the direct purchase of new chillers, number 2 for Mesa Community College, Southern and Dobson campus. Item 13, approval of job order contracting, purchase order to Baker Copeland LLC for removal of chiller 2 and installation of new chiller at Mesa Community College, Southern and Dobson campus. The approval of job order contracting, purchase order to Baker Copeland Construction for air handler replacement in Conflict Hall A building in Estrella Mountain Community College. Approval of job order contracting purchase order to SD Crane Builders for remodeling in the Health Improvement Center, HIC-47 at Mesa Community College, Southern and Dobson campus. Item 16, approval of job order contracting purchase order to Chess Building Team for HVAC system replacement in the music building at Mesa Community College, Dobson and Southern Campus. Item 17, approval of job order contracting purchase order to Baker Copeland Construction, Inc. for HVAC system replacement and fire alarm installation in the new nursing biolab at Mesa Community College. Item 18, approval of job order contracting purchase order to Baker Copeland Construction, Inc. for Central Plaza deferred maintenance renovation at Scottsdale Community College. Item 19, approval of construction contract award for GCON, Inc. for remodeling and systems upgrade of the tower building, third floor at Rio Salado College. Item 20, approval of construction award to Starkweather Roofing of the Hohokam building roof replacement at Rio Salado College. Approval of construction award to Starkweather Roofing for physical education building roof replacements, Bren sections 1 and 2, Bren at Scottsdale Community College. Item 21, approval of construction contract award to Ace Asphalt of Arizona, Inc. for the 2021 district-wide annual summer pavement maintenance program. Item 23, approval of contract award to UBM Enterprise for Rio Salado College custodial services. Item 24, approval of lease payment for tenant improvements for the new Center for Entrepreneurial Innovation, CEI Biomed Center at Gateway Community College, downtown Phoenix location. Item 25, approval of consultant selection Smith Group for district-wide educational and technology planning services. Item 26, approval of Corporation for Public Broadcasting Services Community Services grant to KJZZ radio station. Item 27, approval of new grant award Corporation of Public Broadcasting Community Service grant to KBAQ radio station. Item 28, approval of benefit vendor contract extensions related to the plan year changes. Are there any questions on any of those 28 items?
Dr. Narini?
Yes?
I'm curious on the two grants from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting as to whether those, we've been receiving those grants for decades and decades and decades, whether or not the funding is stable or is it going up or going down?
Thank you, Dr. Thor. Dr. Gonzalez, can you help us with that?
Yes, Dr. Narini and Dr. Thor, I don't know if Kate Smith is on the call. She may have a representative here who's serving as a vice president. Dr. O'Shea, are you with us this evening?
Dr. Gonzalez, this is Kate Smith. I am here this evening. Thank you so much. And actually, I did ask Mr. John Hoban, the Vice President over the Division of Public Service, to join us if we have further questions, but right now the funding is stable. Dr. Thor, to answer your question, and this is a yearly expenditure, and we are asking for approval to receive the funds when they arrive. They have not arrived yet, but in preparation for them to arrive. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Toy, did that answer your question?
Yes, actually, that's good news. I'm glad to hear it's stable.
Hey. Any other questions or comments on any of those items? All right, hearing none, let's go to the non-consent action items. Number 1 is approval of increase in staff compensation retroactive to January 1st, 2021 in support of the district's compensation philosophy. I guess for this one, since it's non-consent, I'll take rolls, see if anybody does have any questions. Mrs. Bittersmith, any questions or comments?
I do actually have a question, Dr. Narini, and it just has to do with timing and the nexus of this to the budget, which is only going for a first read. I'm confused by why we would do this prior to actually having the budget approval. I think they are linked, but if someone could help me understand why they might not be, that would be helpful.
Thank you. Dr. Gonzalez, can you help us with that?
Absolutely, Mrs. Bittersmith, Dr. Narini. If I could have Gary Yaquinto or Dr. Moore provide an answer for you, that would be appreciated.
Thank you, Dr. Narini, Board Member Bittersmith, Dr. Gonzalez. Yes, it is part of the fiscal year 22 budget for fiscal year 22. However, this aspect is to make it retroactive as part of the fiscal year 21 budget back to January 1st of this year, this calendar year. And so that's why you see it here for your action. If you do approve the retroactive component of the 4% cost of living adjustment, then it will go forward and it will be paid retroactively. I think the plan is to pay it out to eligible employees on the May 20th paycheck.
And Dr. Narini and Gary, I don't object obviously to the item. I'm still concerned that I think it actually is tied to our approval of the 21-22 budget, which we won't have done yet. So I'm not objecting to doing it. I'm concerned that maybe we don't have the chicken and the egg connected here. So help me understand if that's an impact, because obviously we wouldn't approve the budget until the May board meeting, which would be after the intended time to put it in paychecks, it sounds like. I think we've talked about this ad nauseum as it related to the budget we have yet to approve.
Yeah, and that's correct. And the reason it is appearing here is because the intent was to pay this out of our balances at the end of that we have at the end of this fiscal year.
Okay, so
yeah.
In actuality, the funds are coming from current year fiscal budget, not the upcoming proposed
Correct.
budget.
Correct.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Mr. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is Mrs. Wynn. Gary, I have a follow-up question. How many employees does this affect, and what is the dollar amount tied to this? And if I heard you correct, we still have this money available in this year's fiscal budget. Is that correct?
Yes, Ms. Wynn, that is correct. The total amount that we've estimated is $10 million, and it would affect the vast majority of our employees, both full-time as well as those that are not full-time employees. So it runs the gamut across all of our employees.
Okay. And do we have? I know people will get different amounts based on their tenure and how long time of employment and all that. But do we have an idea? Is there an average amount that someone will be receiving with this in the May paycheck?
And I thank you for that question. And I don't have that information, but we do have representatives of HR in the meeting as well. And if they don't have an answer, we'll be sure to get one to you.
So this is Dr. Wilson from HR. Dr. Narini and Mrs. Wynn, in terms of the faculty and the staff, so full-time faculty and staff, we have 3,078 staff who will receive the full 4% increase. We have 101 staff who will receive a lesser amount, less than 4%, because they are currently at or near the top of the range, and so we're not increasing any employee above the top of the range. And we have 81 staff who will not receive any increase because their salaries are already above the top of the range. On the residential faculty side, all of the residential faculty will receive the 4% increase because they are all within range on the salary system. Does that address?
It does, and so we're giving this cost of living increase for ending this fiscal year. So this fiscal year ends June 30th, is that correct?
That is correct.
And then how are we treating next year's budget? So when we actually do go to vote on this budget, are then we doing another 4% on top of this for next year? Is that what we're being asked to consider?
No, ma'am. So the budget is 4% increase with the this 6 months being funded out of the one-time funds for fiscal year 21, and then it being worked into the fiscal 22 budget. It's continuing the funding of that 4%. It is not an additional 4%.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Mrs. Nguyen, this is Martha Anderson, Associate CHRO. I did want to let you know it affects approximately 10,000 employees because again, as Mr. Iaquinto indicated, we are giving an increase to the part-time folks. As the item indicates, they have to be active at the time the increase is gone. Given, that's the reason I can't give you an exact amount, because as we're reporting this time to the governing board, the employee count of active employees is 12,514, but paid in the May 19th pay period, the same time period, there were only 9,986 employees paid. So I'm averaging about 10,000, I would think 10,000. But as we process, we can come back to the board and give you the total amount.
I appreciate that. And thank you, Martha, for the clarification.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. McGrath, any questions or comments?
I have a comment on the general budget. I don't know if this is the time to make that or not.
For the upcoming budget or the current year budget?
Item number 6, the 2021-22 budget.
Okay, yeah, we're not there yet.
I know.
Okay, but as far as the non-consent item about the approval of the increase for staff compensation, the retroactive to January 1st, are you any questions? No, okay. Let's see, Dr. Thor. Any questions?
Just happy to see it.
Hey, good.
Happy to see it.
And Mrs. Nguyen, any additional questions or comments?
No, I'm great. Thank you for and sorry, I didn't mean to jump out of turn. I realized now you were going through the role and I apologize.
Not a problem, not a problem. And yeah, and like Dr. Thor, I'm just happy to see this and happy that we're getting the staff what they deserve. All right, so now we're down to the first read informations. So the employment and separations for January 23rd, 2021 through February 19th, 2021. Employment and separations February 20th, 2020 through March 19th, 2021. The proposed new administrative regulations 6.25 settlement authority. Let's see, amended governing board policy 2.7 staff compensation and benefits. Number 5, review resolution of the governing board shifting a portion of the reduction of the secondary property tax rate for funding current and future capital investments. And number 6, proposed fiscal year budget 2021-2022 budget. So do we have any questions or comments on any of those, or I guess we can just take roll again and see if there's any questions and comments. So we'll go in reverse order this time. Mrs. Nguyen, any questions or comments?
I am good.
All right.
Yep.
And Dr. Thor, do you have any questions or comments?
I just want to thank the administration for being so quick to respond to my request for either board policy or resolution to move forward the compensation as well as the tax shift. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And Mrs. McGrath, sounds like you have a question or a comment.
Thank you. Yes. I attend a great many meetings in my district and give reports on what's going on in the district. And I attended a meeting last night, over 100 people, and they were very unhappy that we are promoting critical race theory. When I told them that our enrollment is down, but that we have more money coming in because of the CARES Act and because of the increase in value of property, which gives us more tax money, and that we had been promised a 3% reduction in budget, but are not getting it, they became very, very unhappy. And I would really appreciate it if we could go back to the 3% cut in the budget. It does not make us look very good to spend every penny we can get our hands on. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Bittersmith. Any questions or comments?
Just a quick comment. I'd spoken to Gary by email earlier today, just so the rest of the board got the answer, and they may not have had the same question, but I sort of following up on Dr. Thor's inquiry about the KBOC, KJAS funding grants and other federal monies. I would just inquire whether we had a process in place as those, because the federal dollars seem to continue to be a moving target. We're not sure whether they'll be less than anticipated or more, and whether they'll have restrictions on them. If we had a process to reevaluate budgets and budget categories mid-year, and I think Gary's response to me was they anticipated that already in the proposed budget they're bringing to us, and that normally there isn't a need for an adjustment. But I think I inherently understood that if, to Mrs. McGrath's point, that if financing does change, the board could revisit the budget amounts if there was a need to do that. Gary, did I repeat that correctly from your answer from me earlier today?
You did correctly and accurately. Thank you.
That was it, Dr. Marini.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, now moving forward to any other questions or comments? We got those? So moving forward to the monitoring report. Item 1, budget analysis report, Fund 1, general unrestricted fund for the 8 months ending 2/28/2021. And monitoring report, item 2, budget analysis report, Fund 1, general unrestricted funds for the 9 months ending March 31st, 2021. Any questions or comments on the monitoring reports? Okay, hearing none. Then we move on to the community linkage, the governing board reports, current events and summaries, governing board members, establishment of next meeting dates, times, and locations. So the next agenda review will be May 18th at 4:30, with the regular board meeting on May 25th, 2021 at 6:30. The governing board of MCCD will assess a monthly basis of the status of in-person meetings at that time. And if there's any last minute comments or questions, if not, I guess we can adjourn the meeting in record time at 4:54 p.m.